Hi, I'm Luisa. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are discussing whether we are regretting buying our property in Portugal 2 years ago. So today's video is going to be more of a chat, going down the memory lane and remembering how 2 years ago we bought a property in Portugal. Actually, we bought our property in Portugal in December 2019, right before the pandemic, and yeah, it's been quite a ride since then. But let's talk about whether we regret it or not, because in December 2019, I didn't want anything from this life other than buying that property in Portugal. I thought that is going to change my life, and let's see if all my hopes and dreams, our hopes and dreams, were like we imagined, because I'm sure there are a lot of you out there who are thinking of moving to Portugal, but in the same time they are fearful of this move because it's quite a change in someone's life, and you actually thinking whether if it's worth it. And I know how it is to be in your shoes. I know how it is to, have all these hopes and dreams and all the things in your life that you want to change, and you put that pressure on this change, and at the end of the day you don't know if this is going to work or not, if it's going to solve your problems, or what problems in your life is going to solve and what problems you are going to take with you, because of course I didn't think of that some of the problems are not going to resolve by themselves. The problems are going to come with me in Portugal. But let's start from the beginning. Let's start with the financial aspect of the problem. When we thought of buying this property in Portugal, because it was way over our budget, we thought, okay, let's spin this, because we really wanted to stay in this place. We moved to Val do Lobo Resort in Algarve, and we really wanted to live here, but we couldn't just justify for our budget this kind of property, this kind of investment that was like 2 times what we wanted to pay for our home. We didn't know that it's going to be Portugal. We were looking at Greece, at France, of Spain, practically every country in the south of Europe who has open sea or an ocean or even a tiny lake. We were thinking of moving there. So in Portugal it was very expensive, this property, and we spin it. If we call it an investment property, if we just try to make some money to rent this property so we can justify this money going into this property, is it going to be, I don't know, justifiable? It's going to be worth it to come to Portugal. And 2 years in, after we rented our apartment last year was the first year when we rented. We couldn't rent in 2020 because of the state of the world, and 2022 is the second year when we rent, and we didn't put all our eggs in the same basket. We didn't say like a lot of people say, okay, we are going to buy this property and we are going to pay the mortgage, because we made a mortgage. We have videos here and in the description box about the whole process of the mortgage. If you have questions, please leave it in the comments. I will answer them. And we didn't base our payments of the mortgages on the rent. And we were very smart. Yay, very smart on doing this, because the Portuguese banks don't allow you to put as a financial plan the fact that you are going to pay the mortgage of your income from renting that property. So you have to demonstrate that you have your own income and you can pay the mortgage. And we did that, and it's best that we can afford to pay the mortgage without the rental money, because the rentals are not going so well as we thought. So we are also spending time there in Portugal. So this is also contributing at the fact that we couldn't rent the property long term or whole year, only a few months during the summer. So we structured our stay in Portugal so we could rent in the high season to maximize the profit, but it's not working like we thought. The fact that we have an additional income so we can pay the mortgage from that, it was very useful. So in terms of returning of this investment, it's not good, it's not bad, it's so-so. We have also videos about how much money we make renting our property there in Algarve, in a touristy resort. It's on the channel, you can search it and watch it. We are happy with the return, but my advice to someone who is looking to buy, to rent, is at least in the 1 or 2 years, not to base their whole income on this rent. It would be best to have another income to live and sustain their monthly expenses other than this rent, because anything can happen, maybe people change their minds, the state of the flights in all the Europe is insane. Actually, in all the world, there are a lot of flights who are cancelled, delayed. People can get to the rental properties, they lose their vacations, all sorts of rules. So it's insane. It's still insane in the world. So you never know what is happening, what could happen to your rental. Do we think we could have invested our money better, maybe in Spain, where the properties are a lot cheaper? I was in Portugal like 1 month ago, and I was making a trip to Villarreal de Sant Antonio, and you know that from Villarreal de Sant Antonio you can take the ferry and go to Spain, to Ayamonte. And I was on Ayamonte one day, and I was looking at the property prices, and what do you think? The property prices were insanely cheap than in Portugal. So there are very beautiful apartments situated in condominiums, resorts. Of course, I have never been in those places to actually see how they look, but it looks very beautiful and cheap from the pictures. I also wanted to go to Spain this year, but we never got around to do that, for the sole purpose of checking the properties, because from the ads it seems insanely cheap comparing to Portugal. I will make here, because this is a channel where we talk about properties in Portugal, we know that we don't have to make our assessment based on the pictures, based on ads that you see on the internet. You have to go to the place and actually see for yourself how it is, because there is always something. There is always a reason why this property or that property is or seems to be cheap. Maybe it's in the middle of nowhere, you don't have infrastructure, maybe they are not, they are badly constructed, maybe they are, old, and you don't see that from the pictures. You don't know, you have to go there. So next time when we are going to be in Portugal, we are going to do that. So yes, the thought crosses our mind that maybe we should have bought a property in Spain, but until I go there and actually see for myself, I don't know. I don't have a definite answer. Also, keep in mind that we really wanted this resorty life, because you can buy cheaper properties, on the Silver Coast, or actually in Algarve, but not in the resort. We really wanted to live in the resort, so this made the price of the property very high, because you are going to pay a lot more money for a property that is in the condominium, which is beautiful, manicured, or in a resort is going to be even more expensive, because you have all this land, all this green space, everything is picture perfect, So yeah, we never found something similar in Spain. So yeah, keep in mind that when you are living in a resort, it's going to cost you a lot more than buying the same type of property, but outside the condominium or a resort. Also, I have on my blog, I don't know if you know that we have a blog also. I write articles there also about the life in Portugal. And on my blog, I wrote an article about the life in a resort and how a resort helped us in these 2 years to not feel so confined, because a resort gives you the liberty to have green areas. We are near the ocean, we have the beach, so we were able to stay secure and to respect the rules that were imposed in Portugal, but in the same time not being confined to our home. And even if we open the windows or stay on the balcony, we have 2 beautiful terraces. This helped a lot. Also, you also are in the middle of nature. We have trees and grass and greenery, and also animals. We have a lot of birds there. So kind of for us, it wasn't such a bad 2 years like for the other people who are living, I don't know, in a city and everything was closed and they are confined in their spaces. So all in all, the fact that we chose a resort paid off in this time. We will see from now on. Also, in terms of appreciation of the investment we've made of the property, the prices right now in Portugal are insane. I was looking at the property prices in my resort because I do that, you know. I think everybody who is buying a property checks the prices from now and then just to make sure he or she didn't make a mistake. I don't know, we do that. I check the property prices in the area I bought, so to see if the property are cheaper now or are more expensive, and it is insane. I see apartments who are for sale, were for sale back in 2019 when I was looking to buy a property. The same apartments didn't sell and they upped the prices with like 50,000 euros. Just like that, you know, let's make it 50,000 euros more expensive, because why not? I mean, everybody is putting insane prices on the internet. I don't know if those properties actually sell. A lot of them, I think, don't, but there are a lot of property who are selling at insane prices. And this is mainly because there are a lot of people fleeing for all the parts of the world. On one hand, we have the US people who are fleeing US, coming to Europe and other parts of the world, but mainly Europe and Portugal. It's kind of like you know, like a hub. People with high income find Portugal to be the holy grail because it has good weather, cheap lifestyle for them, for their kind of budget. Even if they are paying for a property like 2 or 3 times their worth, for them it's still cheap. And they come here in Portugal and they buy properties 2, 3, 5 times more expensive than they were like 2 years ago, and they are still okay with this because for them it's the holy grail. It's a new kind of lifestyle. It's something they could never had at this price back in their whole country in US. But who can blame them? I mean, if you would be one of those people, you wouldn't want to live in a secure and happy place with amazing and cheap and healthy food and the ocean at your doorstep, and you know, like 300 years of sunshine, and not to forget the happy people. In Portugal, there are so many happy people all around you. It's like they don't have a care in the world. This is not true. They have a lot of cares in the world and a lot of problems, but they have this way of living life like with hope and with joy, you know, and who wouldn't want to live here in these conditions? So on one part we have the US people. On the other hand, we have the people who always been coming to Portugal since forever. We have the UK, the British people, the Germans, the French, now the Romanians are in Portugal. A lot of everybody flocks to Portugal, and of course that the prices of the properties are insane right now, and not only the price of the buying a property but also rentals. Check out my rental video if you are looking to rent a property. This information you will find useful. So all in all, in terms of financial indicators, it seems like our property appreciated with at least 50,000 euros, at least on the paper. We don't know if you are going to try to sell this property, if someone would actually pay this insane price. But you know, if you go online, this is kind of the numbers that you get. We talked about the money, let's talk about the quality of life. So did we find in Portugal the quality of life that we were looking for when we thought initially to move to Portugal? And the answer is yes and no. And the no part is mostly our fault, because we had some problems, you know, in Romania, and we thought with this move to resolve only those problems. And we didn't thought about the problems that will arise when moving in a new location. We just thought, let's move to this place. This place we checked solves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of our problems. If we move here, we are fairly sure that we are not going to have these problems, which our assessment was true. We ended up getting rid of these said problems. But what we didn't do is, okay, we move here, maybe this place, like any other place in the world, maybe it has some different problems. And this is something that we did not assess, or we did not assess properly. The assessment was faulty. So yeah, we ended up getting our dream life, what we expect to get from Portugal, but we didn't know that Portugal has its problems on its own. So yeah, we breathe fresh air. When I came back in Romania, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, like 1 month ago, I started coughing each day and every day. We are living in Bucharest, in the middle of a very busy, the capital of the country. And this capital, precisely, it's so polluted. It's one of the most polluted places in Europe. So I started coughing, my allergies came back, all sorts of problems. My skin doesn't look that nice. So yeah, we moved to Portugal to live in the middle of nature. Checked. We moved to Portugal for a better quality air. Checked. We moved to Portugal to eat better food. Yes and no. With the food, it's kind of a love-hate there, but the quality of the food, it's better in Portugal. The vegetables are better, the fruits are better. Checked. For example, the bananas, the avocados, the tomatoes, the eggs. Checked. Better in Portugal than in our country. The quality of the meat, oh my god, the meat, the veal meat, kind of all the meat, starting with the chicken meat, checked. Very good quality in Portugal, not very bad quality here in our country. So all in all, we did achieve our goals. We were aiming for a healthier life, for a better quality of life. We were aiming for a place where we can rise early in the morning and go for a quick walk near the ocean. Checked, we did that for a very long time. Actually took up tennis in Portugal. We would have never get in the habit of playing tennis if we weren't inspired by the environment. Portugal is also such an inspiration for a lot of people. You see all these people around you running, living outdoors, eating healthy. It's like the LA, like what we see in the movies. Like in LA, everybody is healthy, right? Everybody is obsessed with healthy food and healthy living. It's kind of like that in Portugal, but for different reasons. So it's kind of the LA here, at least in this place where we live. Everybody strives to be better and healthy, and it's kind of rubs off on you, you know? It's inspiring. And these points, all of them were checked. On the other part, there are some cons or things we didn't thought to include in our assessment moving in Portugal, like there are some things about the food that we are not used to, you know, like that cultural shock that everybody talks about. For us, the food is a big deal. We are foodie people. We are very much in love with food. We kind of live to eat. Every place we are going, the first thing we check is the food. So when you are staying longer in Portugal, there are some foods that you don't want to eat, kind of like cooked meals with a lot of bread, with a lot of oil, cooked food, you know, fried food. So we are kind of trying to stay away from that. And in the touristy area that we are, we cannot do that. We didn't assess properly what a touristy area means. And first and foremost means bad food, pricey food. If you are in any other place in Portugal, in the center of Portugal, we went to Alcobaça, we went to Nazaré, we went to Évora, we went to Algesur. Amazing food, very cheap food for what you get. But in Algarve, no. The food is awful if you don't cook at home, or you don't have some established restaurants where you can test the food and you know it's your taste and it's healthy. You are going to have kind of a hard time. If you are used to be cooking in the house, it's going to be easier because you go to Lidl, Continente, you go to Pingo and you buy the produce and you cook. But us coming from a system here in Romania, or where all our meals are delivered and it's very healthy and nice food and with the tasty food, leaving that in Romania and coming to Portugal, having to cook every day, it's kind of hard. But this is kind of, it depends on your lifestyle, and if you were using the cooking system in your country, coming in Portugal is going to be a bliss because you are going to have all these fresh and healthy produce at a fraction of your price in your country. So in terms of a lifestyle, checked, more good than the bad, so it wasn't a mistake on that part either to move to Portugal. The questions always remains. I don't know what type of the person you are, but in my mind always I'm asking with everything in my life, should I move to another place? Could I have done better? Maybe it's another place in this world that is more suitable or better for me. I look at Instagram, I look at YouTube, and I see people in Bali very happy. Maybe Bali would be an option. But the fact of the matter is that when we got these ideas of maybe we made a mistake or not, we always return to our list, our factors, why we chose Portugal. So we don't want to forget that we chose Portugal because we wanted to be in Europe. So we are Europeans, we can come and go as we please, so it's a freedom of movement here. Of course, Bali on the internet looks great, but this is not what we wanted. So if you have doubts about your moving to Portugal, give it 6 months, give it a year. And if you are really not happy in Portugal, by all means leave and make a change. But remember your reasons, why did you move to Portugal in the first place? All in all, I think it's normal to doubt your decision. So factor this in when maybe you are thinking of moving to Portugal. Please leave it in the comments if this type of videos is something that you enjoy, if it's something that you find useful, you like hearing stories and thoughts of people who lived in Portugal 1 or 2 years, and by all means leave it in the comments your experience, your thoughts. And if you are someone who spent in Portugal a lot longer than me, please leave it in the comments how you feel in Portugal after 5 or 6 years, and please specify where you came from, because this seems to be a very important factor, where you came from. Until next time, keep safe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!